road is narrow, the voice is loud. Everybody pulling, lost in the crowd. Some say bend, some say break what's true. But I've set my eyes on something true. I won't be shaken, I won't be moved. When the lines get blurred, I choose the truth. I won't fall left, I won't fall right. I'm standing firm in a steady light, rooted deep, no compromise. I'm walking strong between two ditches. I stand. I won't fall, I won't fade. Firm foundation won't be moved. Patience, neither between two ditches. I stand my ground. I stand my ground. I stand, yeah. I stand my ground. I stand my ground. I stand my ground. Between two ditches. I stand my ground. I stand my I stand my
Welcome to the Between Two Ditches podcast. We sure are excited to be back with you today, and we sure do appreciate you joining us today for this episode, and we hope that you enjoy. So let me ask you this question.
All right.
Was there ever anybody that you came in contact with in jail or prison or whatever the case may be that had an impact on your life in a positive way?
Yeah. At the time, I didn't think it was going to be a positive influence because, like I was telling you earlier, man, like, I think I only had one cellmate that didn't have a life sentence. So, I mean, it gave me a picture of what it could have been.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been way worse.
It's true.
So, I mean, it did influence me positively because it was like, man, if you don't straighten up, like, this is the end game. This is what it's going to be. You know, you're either going to have this life sentence or you're going to be dead and turn back now, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I asked you this earlier, but I want to cover it right now. So, what steps are you taking since now being on the outside, so to speak? What steps are you taking that's going to be different from, you know, in times past?
Right. So, whenever we were talking earlier, I was talking about when I look back, I seen that I was just like the children of Israel, you know. Every time I would turn my back on God and go into the ways of the world, that's whenever I would have my issues. So now, rather than surrounding myself with the things and the people that I was surrounding myself with before, I'm surrounding myself with people like, you know, church people like y'all, and trying to get involved in everything I can to the benefit of Christ rather than,
Right.
you know, worldly stuff. And just, you know, one step in front of the other.
Right.
Small victories,
Yes.
you know?
Well, I think anybody wants their life to have purpose.
Yeah.
And I can tell that God has big purpose for you, that God has big plans for you. And I love that, you know, anything we do, you're just like, man, how can I help you? How can I help you? Like even just getting here today, I tried to go grab a chair to bring in here, and you're like, hand me that chair. Like I couldn't even carry it.
Yeah.
You know, it's something little, but it's just like, man, he's on fire for the Lord, wanting to do something for God. I love it.
Well, you know, and I'll speak into that just a little bit. Like 6 months ago, and that's usually the time frame I use because that's roughly how long we've been coming here. Like, we've been doing some stuff, some outreach and stuff, like, but now that I'm here and I feel like I can be a little more opened up in what I do, like, I really want to pour into the outreach some more. And we're actually talking about one right now. Well, I'll fill you in on that later. I'm not ready to announce it this way yet.
Yeah.
So, but another outreach thing that we're going to try and see how that works out. But it's like 6 months ago, we had a good small core of people that always ready, willing, and able. But have you noticed, especially in the last 3 months, but last 6 months, we'll just broad brush it a little bit more. The number of people that we've seen come in that is so eager and so hungry to help, to work for God.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it just, me wanting to step into more outreach and more that kind of stuff, it's like, well, before it was, well, how am I going to do this? I'm only one person. I can only do so much. And I lean on Jacob a lot now as it is. And, you know, he's got a busy life outside of anything with 2 small kids and, you know,
Yeah.
everything that he's got going on. So it's like I feel bad anytime that I come up with a new idea. It's like, well, I can't keep leaning on him.
Yeah.
Like he's only got so many hours in a day. So it's refreshing to me to see people like you coming in
Right.
that like can maybe even take some pressure off him,
Yeah.
like to where he doesn't feel like he has to be right in the middle of every single little thing that's going on.
Yeah.
So all I was really saying there is just it's refreshing to me to see people that are as eager and hungry as I am to step out and start doing some stuff, because to step back into the ministry side of it, like that's the goal. It's to reach the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. We want to find new ways to get in the community, to work with the community.
Yep.
And what that takes is having a few more hands to be able to get that stuff done. So people like you are going to be crucial to getting that done.
Yep.
Man.
A lot of that has to do with like the hospitality that the church shows whenever we walk in the doors, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's just hospitable, and that community, that feeling of belonging is there. So it just makes it easy to reach out and be able to do something for God and do something to see lives changed, you know?
Well, you can't spread community outside of the church if you don't have community inside
That's
the
true.
church.
Yeah.
You can't spread something you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been the hardest thing from transitioning from that? Because you was telling me, you know, you create a life in there.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, you have to survive somehow. So
That's
you
what
pretty
it's
much,
about.
you just make that your life.
Yeah.
You know, you get used to it. What's been the biggest change / transition, or the hardest transition from life to being outside?
Them circles I still walk. no, just because nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're locked up, like we always just walk laps and talk.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, man, I still walk laps in the house. I walk through the living room and the kitchen and all around the dining room, still walking laps in the house. You just get used to doing things, man, and you just, it's a habit and you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So like that's probably the hardest transition, and then like just people, like crowds, because you get used to like not necessarily interacting with normal people. You
Yeah.
know? I'm not just normal for lack of better words, but
Right.
like just not interacting in the way that people out here do.
Yeah.
You know, and just like in a friendly manner, I guess, so to speak. So you don't have to be on defense all the time, you know. So it's like you just kind of got to adapt and adjust to that. That's probably been the hardest thing, is like just the not having to be on the defense all the time.
So freedom, would that be a good word?
Yeah.
Like just the freedom that you get to actually choose what you're doing rather than somebody telling you what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that may sound silly, but it's like, for you, I bet your freedom, even though you have experienced it at other times, like that's almost probably a new concept because of how long you were without it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like the other day, my grandma asked me, she was like, it was my birthday. She said, "Where you want to go eat for your birthday?" I'm like, man, I hadn't had to make a choice in a long time, you know? How's this going to go?
That's a hard question.
Like, there's so many choices. Like, which one do I choose? No.
Well, let me ask you this question. It kind of piggybacks a little bit off of what Jacob said there. And it may not be a great representation, but you mentioned crowds.
Yeah.
Like, how was it like to go to something like the Moonlight event that we had, to where there was quite a few people and just people moving and bustling around everywhere. And
I mean, if it had been in the month of April or the beginning of May, I probably wouldn't have been real comfortable with it. But like, I started adjusting by the point in time
Yeah.
that was. So, I mean, it was all right. I didn't have any issues.
but was that kind of like almost weird for you, or?
At that point, no, because like I'd been around just stuff around here and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that was just a question that popped into mind.
No, it wasn't awkward or anything.
Which we wasn't like packed shoulder to shoulder or anything like that either. So, do you think a crowd like that would probably
No.
do anything?
It was kind of spread out. I
Yeah.
think if maybe we had been like tighter packed in, I may
Like if
have
we'd been in a
little more-
mosh pit, there's
Yeah, I
so
might
many
have been a
people
little
or
bit more
something
hardcore, you know what I'm saying? But no, like we were kind of spread out a little, and I did sit in the back, so
Yeah.
you know, don't forget that
So
part.
I do have a curveball question
All
here.
right.
And you may be able to speak into this, you may not, but what advice or is there anything that would help a pastor or churches when it comes to helping people who are coming out of prison?
I mean, just understand that God really does change people. You know, He does have the power to do that. We serve a big God. And it's just because of somebody's past that doesn't define, them now necessarily. I mean, I'm sure that some people it still does define because that's the choice that they've made, but like God really does change lives,
Yeah.
And the love of Christ, man, you just got to show them the love of Christ.
Yes.
That's something I've said about the church here, that it does really well. Like, I've never heard so many testimonies come out of a place before of first time we walked in, we felt like we were with family, So, and I think that speaks volumes to just the atmosphere here.
Right.
But I think that's where, I think we said it even in the last episode, it should feel that way anytime you walk into any church building anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, like I was telling you before, man, like I went to church here before, before we even had a church building, before we were actually in this church building, like we were still meeting over at the fire hall in Damascus.
Yeah.
And then I started coming to church here. And since then, it's been through renovations, a new pastor, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I've never felt community like I do now from here, you know what I'm saying?
Well, here's another curiosity question from me, and they may get tired of hearing my curiosity come out.
Well,
but
I was hitting him going down the road.
but did you know Jacob before you started coming here this time?
No.
Hey, I remember so many times, so many Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, we'd say, anybody got any prayer requests? And Miss Judy would say, just pray for Tyler.
Yeah.
Just pray for Tyler. And so I knew Tyler, I knew his name.
Yeah.
And I was calling his name out to the Lord.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And so was many others, man. And like where we had invested so much prayer, the first time I seen you walk through them doors, man, I just wanted to. Sounds weird, and I definitely couldn't do it because you've been in prison. I just wanted to jump up and hug his neck.
Yeah.
But I knew if I approached him like that, he's gonna punch me and knock me out.
We'd be talking about him rather than that pastor in Louisiana.
But no, it's just like you've invested so much time, just praying, saying, God, help him, bless him, whatever he needs. And so it's just a thrill to see him walk through the door, and then just to see you get involved and just be willing to talk and share input and share really wisdom.
Yeah.
Man, it's been awesome. I love it.
I mean, I just don't want to see anybody else go down my path, the same path I've been down, because, I feel like God's going to make sure that you reach that point, whatever plan He has for you, like Jeremiah 29:11.
Yeah.
Like He knows His plans for you, and He's going to make sure those plans are fulfilled. It doesn't matter what He has to do to fulfill those plans. Like, you got free will, you got choice, but He can affect your free choice. Like, He can take away options, He can take away opportunities, He'll take away whatever He has to take away from you to get you to that point.
Yeah.
Regardless of what He has to do, that's what He's going to do.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think you can go back to Job and see that.
Yeah.
Granted, we know how Job goes, and talks about him giving the devil reign over him to do anything except for kill him. But at the end of the day, the devil didn't do anything that God didn't allow. So if you want to see some of the extremes that God will allow to happen in your life, just go back and read the book of Job.
Yeah.
Like that, there was some extreme stuff happened to that man, and for him to come out on the other side still praising God, like that shows that he will use what he's got to use to get you where he wants you to be.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, if you could take a New Testament example, Paul. I mean, Paul had been through some crazy stuff, man. Like, I mean, and then, you know, he was Saul before. He was persecuting Christians. And then that road to Damascus, man. And he just flipped over and started living for Christ.
Yeah.
And then even after he got on the good side, so to speak, like he still went through all kinds of things for the name of Christ. You know?
He went from persecuting people to being persecuted.
Yeah.
Like
That's a transformation.
Yes, it is. But you had mentioned something there about, you know, you desire that people do not take the same path that you took. So we have a lot of young people, you know, that God's blessed us with.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take a moment, and if possible, could you speak to them for a minute? Just speak into their life, whatever you feel like you want to tell them. If you had the opportunity to sit all of them down right here, what would you share with them?
Man, be young while you can, for one. You know, like don't try to grow up so fast, man. And it's like, just don't take for granted the things you have, your family, your parents, you know, siblings, things like that, because I mean, they can be taken away at any time. And that was one thing I was so scared of while I was in there, was like not getting out to give my grandma a hug again, you know. I was like, man. And then just knowing that she's sitting over here praying for me so much, you know, like there's nothing like prayers of the family, you know. But it's like, if there is some type of, you know, mud in the water, so to speak, like if you're doing things that could potentially lead you down the wrong path, like cut that stuff out at the root before it gets too bad, man, because you never mean for it to go as far as it goes.
Right.
Like, and it hurts so bad when it goes that far, you know, like, so just, man.
I know we've shared a little bit of this, and I ain't trying to interrupt you, but I want to mention this. How much of your testimony in the prison years of your life would you say that the people you surrounded yourself with was a big reason for that? I know at the end of the day we have to take accountability for our own actions.
Yeah,
but
I mean, 100%. I made the choice.
But how much of a role did that play of how you surrounded yourself with people?
80%. 20% was my choice, me making the choices I made. 80% was the people that I chose to surround myself with, because those people are enablers. They're gonna, if they're doing the same thing, they're living that lifestyle, they're gonna enable those things, and that's just gonna, birds of a feather, man. You know what I'm saying? Birds of a feather flock together. So if you're gonna eventually give in, you can't you can't play with fire and get burned, man. There's all kinds of old proverbs about that, you know. If a man ain't take fire on his chest, he's gonna be burned. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it would be like, and this is a terrible illustration, but it's like if you go to the bar and you sit there and all you're doing is drinking a glass of water, but you're talking to these people day in, day out, day in, day out. How long is it going to be before that glass of water changes?
Could be.
I mean, how long is it going to be before you start conforming to your surroundings?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and like I say, that's a terrible representation, but it's like, how long can you keep doing the same thing, being around the same people that have the same influences before it does start to shift, you know?
Yeah. After you expose yourself to things so much, you desensitize yourself to like the shock of it, for one, but then like to the negativity of it.
Yeah.
So when you're around things, like if they become the norm, you just feel like that's how it's supposed to be. So, I mean, why not? You know, that's the question. Why
And it
not?
blinds you from the consequence. Too.
Yeah, you don't see the consequence.
I think that comes back to a point that Jacob was making a while back about the youth we were talking about giving them roles and opportunities in the church and everything to get them involved. Because if they can surround themselves with that, maybe that will be what the influence kicks in, and that's what they're going
Yeah.
to conform to, rather than, well, I'm 18 now, I don't fit in the youth anymore, but I don't fit really with the adults. I'm just
Yeah.
kind of here, so
And then they do the college scene. And
then they say, well, I don't really have to go like that. The kids, I'm not with kids anymore. I'm not with the adults anymore. I don't feel like I fit in anymore. Whereas you give them a role in the church, you give them something,
Purpose.
give them purpose,
Yeah.
exactly. Then,
Right. And
then that keeps them.
so I think you guys would agree that there are many decisions that seem fun
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that gets requested to us and advertised to us in those critical years of our life. We can, I would say, as young as 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, even into our 20s, that our friends, well, I say friends in quotations, may be doing or maybe partaking of, or we get asked to do, that in the moment it's all advertised as fun,
Yeah.
as just living it up, just being young, right? Whatever. But in all reality, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And whenever we are surrounding ourselves with that kind of people, it's literally so easy to fall. And we go in, just like I'm sure you would say this, you had good intentions. You probably told yourself at one time, I'm going to change them. I'm going to go in. I'm going to be the light. That's what I always told myself.
Yeah.
I'll be the light. I'll be the one that turns them around, and before we know it, this party's going to turn into a whole Bible study. I told myself that kind of stuff. But then next thing you know, I pull up, and it ain't even 30 minutes, Brother Tyler, and here I am doing the same stupid junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, listening to a podcast earlier, so Christian Huff, he's the guy that married Sadie Robertson.
Okay.
So he was talking about when he was in college, about he grew up in church, was saved at a young age and everything, but when he got up to the college age, he said he lived it really good on Sunday. He said, but then the rest of the time he wanted to be with his buddies and doing what they were doing and everything. He said, and he was at a party one time, he said, and he found himself just over in the corner, and this was his words. He said, I was shotgunning beers to get drunk as fast as I could.
Man.
He said, and one of the people that was in the youth group with me walked up and said, I didn't think you drank. He said, and that just really was a critical thing for him.
Yeah.
He said, I was trying to live one way on Sunday and another way, trying to live for God on Sunday and for himself the rest of the time. And that was, I just felt like that was a good
Yeah,
representation of.
So if it's all right, let's park right here for a minute. So one of the big things that I always told myself, and I walked through, was all of my quote unquote friends at one season of life was making those decisions.
Yeah.
And so I told myself, if I step away, then I will be isolated. And I won't have anybody. I won't have any friends. So what should a person do in that season of life, in that moment where they feel like, well, all my people, so to speak, are making those decisions, and if I step away, which is the right thing to do in most cases, but now I don't have anybody.
Find new people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for real.
But
find new
but
people.
that's a hard thing to do.
It is,
and I'm sure y'all both will agree.
Yeah.
But that's where I think it's so valuable for stuff like the refuge, the youth group, and even the ones with the smaller kids. Yes, they need to be here. They need to be learning about God. They need to be learning how they need to act and all those things. But if all it is like they're coming and they're getting something beat in their head, they're not going to want to come back to it.
Right.
That's where, like them over there on a Sunday night, they have their lesson, but they know they're probably going to have a snack of some sort.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go to the gym and shoot some basketball,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
play some volleyball or something like that. And it's fun, something for them to look forward to. And there's so much value in that with youth is because you watch TV, it doesn't ever show about coming to youth group being fun. It shows these people on the beach playing volleyball with their big cooler of beer sitting here, you know, and whatever else it may be. Like the world shows them one version of fun. And if we don't show them another version of fun, it comes back to that lady at the yard sale. Like, you know, that you give the testimony of, she still comes back from time to time, you know, just because she saw the church was out there and having fun. Like, and there's so much value in that. And I feel like overall, that's something the church has lost. Like, and maybe never really had in what our modern day idea of the church is. But if we don't give children something positive to put their efforts and energy into, the world's going to give them plenty of negative stuff that they can put their energy into.
So for the one that's searching in that moment for the answer, what should I do? Of they've got friends, but those friends are making terrible decisions. Could this be one of those moments where you feel isolated, but you turn that into a solitude? I would say become best friends with the Lord. And I know that's tough. That's difficult because anybody at that age wants to have fun. But I do think there's a lot of wisdom in stepping away and just being BFFs with the Lord. And the same God that saved you, the same God that has been with you thus far, He can provide some godly friends. You know, I realized whenever I finally made that tough choice in my life to step away from a friend, and he really was a friend, but I had to do it because it was one of those things where I could not get victory over certain sins until I stepped away. And once I did, God really opened the door and introduced me to new friends. And it was life-changing. But I had to do it by faith because I didn't have those friends just saying, hey, we're waiting on you over here. Come be with me. It was a step of faith of saying, I'm going to have to get away from what's going to hinder me to better my walk with the Lord.
Peter
The Bible
had to step
says
off the
this.
boat.
Yes. The Bible says this, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. And then what does it say?
All these things will be
All
added unto
these
you.
things. All these things. So you fill in the blank. All the friends, all the fun, all these things will be added unto you.
So just something funny, just the way that you emphasize the word all on the Unashamed podcast the other day. Jace was talking, he said, you know, that, and he gave the Greek word, and he said, it translates to all. And he said, you know what that meant in Greek? He said, all.
It's pretty simple.
It was funny, just, you know, you put the emphasis there, and it brought that back to mind. He said, you know, this word translated to all. He said, but you know what it meant in the Greek? It meant all. So, you know, it kind of comes back to the same mentality of the whosoever. Like that doesn't mean some or you or not you or anything like that. It means whosoever. Like it means exactly what it means.
Yes, and man, there's so many consequences, there's so many hurts that we can avoid if we would make that decision of stepping away from what's going to hinder us now rather than wait until it gets too bad and then facing the consequences later on. And I think you would agree if you had the opportunity to talk to young people, I think you would probably share with them, do it now before it's too late.
Facts. That's true, because I mean that goes along with like the don't grow up so fast too. Like take advantage of what you have before you don't have it anymore.
Right.
So exactly what you said. Like take care of it before it's too late. Like
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, you could.
Well, if you think about it, we spend our middle school years, our high school years, I can't wait to drive. I can't wait to get out of high school. I can't wait to go to college. I can't wait to do this, that, and the other. And then you get there and it's like, well, I can't wait to get married. I can't wait to have kids. And then you're like, you hear everybody say it, every person you come in contact. What I do to be 10 years younger again?
Yeah.
What I do to go back to?
I'm there now. You know what I mean? I'm there now.
I am too.
Yeah.
My 3-year-old will not stop talking. All you ever want them to do is talk, and then you just wish they'd shut up. No.
Dad had a saying for that was I always thought was pretty funny. He said, "You spend the first 2 years teaching them to walk and talk, and the next 16 years tell them to sit down and shut up."
Yeah.
That's all right.
But yeah, I agree so much that you continuously look forward at the freedom. Can't wait to do this, that, and the other. But if you just live in that moment,
Yeah.
man. So yeah, I like that wisdom, sharing with these youngins. And God has given them such a place to be poured into,
Yeah.
to learn about the Lord, and to have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of wisdom in making some choices now. That way you can benefit later,
That's right,
rather
yeah.
than face the consequences.
Invest into it.
Yes.
Like invest in something positive.
Well, let me throw this out there, and this is probably catch you off guard, but you know, we're seeing the value, we're pouring into the youth and everything like we are currently. What can be the next step from that? How can they then take what they're experiencing, how can they show that outside of church? Like, what could be the next step for the youth to be able to, in their own way, grow the youth program just because, you know, of
Well,
getting it outside of just here?
I do think a natural response to when they're enjoying it and when they're excited about it, it's automatically they're going to say, "Hey, come with me."
Yeah.
You know, one invitation can go a long way.
Yeah.
And I also think it can work on them inwardly, and then whenever they get out there, it'll just automatically begin to flow.
Yeah.
I do think it'll come out in some ways like that. I do think that they are in such a critical season of their life,
Yeah.
where whenever they plan certain things or want to go out, this, that, and the other, that they can use wisdom and where they go to and who they're going with
Yeah.
and things like that. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, and that was a question kind of to hopefully help, you know, somebody listening. It's like, okay, because hopefully the youth, some of them are listening to this. Like,
Yeah.
I really hope they do, because granted, some of the stuff we talk about is probably not too pertinent to them right at the moment, but any wisdom, just like you say about the marriage conference, like that's why we invite, or you invite single people to come to it. It's like,
Right.
rather have it be an open book test when marriage comes, rather
right.
than be like us and just trying to figure it out on our own and
Yeah.
seeing how good we can mess that up real quick.
No doubt. I wish I'd have had a marriage conference 15 years ago. Man. I still hadn't figured this thing out.
No, we ain't either. We're just learning together. Is all we're
Yeah, I
doing.
know. I'm
Yeah,
just,
but you know, it's that same kind of thing. Like, well, what? And I mean, that's something for us to even think about and ponder on. Is what's the next steps? How do we keep spreading that? How do we keep getting that out to the young people so they don't walk down some of the paths that we've walked down? Because if you go back and talk to your parents, they say, "Man, I wish I'd listened to my parents."
Yeah.
I can say that now. I'm to a point, it's like, man, some of the stuff they told me, man, I wish I'd have listened to them.
Yeah.
Well, then if you talk to your parents, they say the same thing about what their parents said. So apparently the parents telling the kids ain't doing too much.
that's like from
We
small
don't-
groups the other night, man. That was the whole thought I had. It was like, I didn't listen to my grandparents, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I knew what was right.
Right.
Like, I was brought up in church, man. Like, I knew what was right. I just chose choices opposite to that.
Yeah.
And it was because, like, I felt like they weren't relevant.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because they're older, you know, they don't do any of those things. So I felt like they didn't know what I was going through or what situation I was in. So maybe somebody who is more relevant, or somebody else can reach them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it would have made a difference in your life when you were younger, still living with them, still growing up, if you'd have had a youth program kind of like what we have now? Do you think that could have done something different in your life? Like could have
Yeah.
steered you a different direction?
Well, like there was a small youth program where I was going at whenever I was younger. Like whenever they had a little Awana program, and like that kind of like molded me. You know, like I still remember Bible verses I learned in Awana, man. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I could quote those things, but
Oh, yeah.
it's like all that's still in there. You
Yeah.
know, and I don't think had it not been for the things I learned in that youth program, that I don't think that God would have been able to use what was in there to work his, you know what I'm saying,
Makes
to work on me later on.
Yeah.
But like there wasn't necessarily a youth program. Whenever I started like going down the wrong path, like there was definitely not a youth program that I could have gotten involved in. There might have been 2 youth in the church at
Yeah.
the time, and I was one of them, you know, and there was definitely not a program for it. I feel like if there would have been something I could have gotten involved in to channel my energy more so to speak, rather than involving myself in the things I was, there probably would have been a different path.
Right. I think, well, along these whole lines of isolation and the dangers of it and all that stuff, it shows you the importance of connections and community.
Yeah.
And I think moving forward, that's probably going to be one of your biggest battles and decisions.
Yeah.
Is community and connections. Who am I going to have community with, and who am I going to connect with?
That's it.
You know, and that's not to say that you'll never face a temptation to be connected with somebody, or even accidentally come in contact with somebody that eventually is negative. You know.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that we're thankful that you have gotten connected with us
Yeah.
and the community, so to speak, here, and small groups. And man, it's just been a blessing.
I appreciate it, man.
Man,
For sure.
amen. Got anything else?
Well, you know me, I can ramble on forever.
Well, I didn't want to hold them all day, and
Yeah. So, no, the only thing I would say is putting up guardrails.
Yeah.
Like, that's somewhere I'm sure that you're at in life. And that kind of comes back to themes that we've used in the past with the podcast is, for you, what kind of guardrails do you see that you have to put in place to keep yourself from trying to migrate back to what you knew before?
People, places, and things, man. You know, you got to throw the things out in the ditch that just aren't any good for you. You
Leave
know?
the things in the ditch that you threw out there.
Yeah. When you throw them in the ditch, leave them there. You know?
Because, and here's the thought that went through my mind, because you are in your walk and doing so good with it. I'm sure there's somewhere in your mind it's like, man, if I could reach those people I used to run with,
Yeah.
and I could show them what God's done to me. But I feel, and this is me thinking for myself, and my personal thought is the danger that could do in your mind of being like, well, I'm going to reach out to them so that I can reach them.
Yeah.
But that may be one of those things that's somebody else's job.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I guess for me that would be my bit of, you know, I don't know if wisdom's the right word, but guidance that I would give to
Yeah.
you. It's like I'm sure there's people out there that you cared about because you spent years with,
Yeah.
and it's like it would be so tempting to be like, I'll be the one to change them, but it may be that you have to be like, I'm not that person for them,
That's true. Yeah.
you know, because
I guess that's a good type of isolation, is
Yeah.
to take that away. You know. Yeah, definitely.
that does make sense.
Right.
You know, you coming out and you automatically just want to like contact the people that you once knew.
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, that was the problem before, you know, because I was seeking community and relationship and connections and things like that. So it was just so easy to fall back into what I knew, you know, because it was comfortable. I
Yeah.
felt like I belonged, you know what I'm saying? Because I just knew everybody. I would just,
Yeah,
those connections were already there. It's hard to make new connections,
it is.
especially at my age, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's
Well-
hard to,
Well, you know, that's what I was getting ready to say is, you know, at our age, we're not in school.
Yeah.
We're not going to the mall, which we don't even have anything like that anymore. That's a thing of the past. That's showing our age a little bit there. But, we don't have those social gatherings or outreach things for us to really make those connections. So it's hard at this stage of life to make new connections unless you have something like church to make those
true,
connections with.
Yep.
ChristianMingle.com.
Farmers only.
Yeah, farmers only.
But and that's something too. What would be some insight there, like for people to make new contacts? Like, I mean, granted, we automatically say, well, just go to church, you'll meet all kinds of people.
Yeah.
But those people that are not quite there yet, like how could you give them guidance?
I like that illustration you used the other day about the tree, man. You know what I'm saying? The tree's got to be planted,
Ooh,
and then it has to grow roots.
good point.
And I mean, for it to grow, that has to happen. You got to plant it first.
Well, we mentioned something last night about doing without now so that you can have later on.
Yeah.
A young person or even somebody your age, my age. I'm sorry, guys. I'm younger. But it don't matter which season. There is wisdom, and sometimes you're going to have a season where you may, quote unquote, isolate / be in a solitude season. That don't mean you'll be there forever. Mm-hmm. You may be in a season right now where you do have to stay more solitude / isolated, finding those new connections. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you can go wrong with that. No. Because you definitely don't want to go to the crowd that's going to pull you down.
No.
So I think there is benefit in what you're talking about, just snuggling up real close to the Lord, growing in Him.
Yeah.
And He is able to provide that,
Yeah. And man, he's blessing me so much. Like we were talking about the other day, man, like obedience. When you obey God, He blesses you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and whenever you're willing to take that step of faith and just obey Him and do what He tells you to do, like you know what you're supposed to do. And if there's a situation that comes up at any given time and that little voice is telling you to do it, man, do it. That's the Holy Spirit, you know what I'm saying? Just do it, and He'll bless you for it. And like He's blessing me like crazy, man. Like
it's awesome.
I can't even get into the means and just length of how much He's blessing me right now, man.
It's awesome.
So I think that's been good. We were talking a little bit before about, before we got started about, the podcast, like, how's it going to go? Sometimes we come in and we've got a straight shot, like we know exactly what we're planning on talking about, and we've got enough to just keep going. Like I had mentioned, like this episode maybe being something like isolation into solitude or something like that. But looking forward, something like that. Like I think that's more what the theme of this has been. It's like you've went through what you've went through, but you can't keep your eyes on the rear view.
That's it.
You've got to keep looking forward. And I mean, that's, the reason the podcast logo is designed. It's like when you're driving down the road, the way the design is what's straight in front of you.
Yeah.
It's the cross.
Yes.
You got to keep looking forward to Him.
So in a car, you have a windshield, which is super big, and then you have a rear view mirror. If you tried to drive looking in the rear view mirror, eventually you're going to probably wind up in the ditch.
Yep.
But when you're looking out the windshield and you're able to see everything, what do? You glance in the rear view mirror.
Check yourself.
Just to check and see if there's anything behind you. There is wisdom here in looking in your rear view mirror, so to speak, and anybody's rear view mirror, my rear view mirror, looking back and learning from some things that, got us to where we are.
Yep.
Learning from past mistakes, past choices, and I hope you know that we are wanting to walk with you forward, and we want to be here with you forward. And as cringy as it sounds, you've got a friend in me, man.
Ironic that the new one of those just hit theaters, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah. No, I would extend the same olive branch or whatever you want to say there.
Yeah, I
It's
appreciate
like
it.
if something's going on and like you just need somebody, like we're here.
Yeah, I
you
appreciate
know.
it.
Reach out. I mean, I can't always help in a lot of ways, but I can always listen. Like
That's it, man.
if nothing else, like I can be there to listen.
Yeah.
And I might give you some bad advice along the way, but just know there's somebody always there.
I appreciate it.
You
man.
know, because
That's what it takes, though. You know
Jacob
what I'm
was
saying?
saying, you may be in a season where you're in a little bit more of isolation, but just know
Yeah.
that there's a group of people here that you
Right.
can reach out to. That's
Yeah.
and that's what we hope for everybody, like not just here. And I mean that's very sincere. What I said is very sincere. But to take it back to the podcast, it's like that's what everybody should be looking for.
Yeah.
It should be that sense of community that, man, I've got something going on.
Right.
But the pastor's busy.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to bother him with this, but I really just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they should be somebody else. There should be a group of somebody else's there that you can reach out to. So,
Yeah. I was reading this book while I was in there about this pastor, and he was talking about how many roles the pastor actually plays. You know what I'm saying? Like counselor for everything, marital counselor, counselor for just anything that could happen. If somebody's in the hospital, who do they call?
Right.
If somebody dies, who do they call? And I feel like maybe sometimes we got to spread that roll out and just give him a break every now and then. Help share the weight.
It's true.
and I think a great representation, which we're going to beat this horse to death, I guess. But like the small groups on Wednesday, the fact that he gets to sit back for a little while and get poured into rather than just always being the one pouring out. You know, he's actually able to take his bottle, the demonstration he always shows of pouring out. He actually gets to set it back up for a minute and get something poured back into it.
I mean, you got to have your cup full before you can pour out.
I've been bringing my 2-liter bottle.
With a funnel in the top of it.
My 5-gallon bucket.
He's out catching raindrops.
But no, it's been that way though. It's just been a blessing. Getting to take in. Yeah. But hey man, that's encouraging, and we're excited for you, and I think many would agree with this statement that what we long for you is to see you just excel and succeed in the Lord in whatever he has for you. And I believe he's got big plans for you, got a big purpose for you. And if I could say one thing, then we just want to see this be the changing moment, that this is moving forward, is different from any other time. And you just do what God wants you to do.
For sure.
And we're proud of you and looking forward to serving the Lord together.
That's right.
Man.
We have a lot of fun doing the odd things that we do. Because some of the outreaches we do, most people would probably say are a little bit odd. But we have a lot of fun doing what we do, and like I said, we're looking to expand that a little bit more, and I'm excited to have some more people to walk along beside to reach out, and maybe Jacob be able to breathe a little bit, not feeling like he's got to
That's right.
keep going, and maybe Chastity will like me a little bit better if I find somebody else to help me on some of these projects.
No doubt.
That's awesome, man. But we're excited for the future and what God has planned.
That's it.
And we do really appreciate you coming on the podcast, being willing to share anything. Before we go, I do have to ask, though, do you have any funny stories from prison or jail?
There's too many to count, man. So, yeah, here we go. I was out on the yard one day, and there was these two guys standing behind me. So the yard that I'm talking on the yard, it's the recreation yard. It's a big grass field, and there's concrete for a basketball goal. There's a weight pile, and there's a fence around it. But we're back in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to isolate this place. And so there's like live just animals everywhere, like groundhogs, deer. And there was this guy, and he was like, "Hey man," he's talking to his buddy. He was like, "Hey man, man, you been seeing them chickens out there?" He's like, no, man, them ain't chickens, them's roosters. I mean, it was turkeys.
Yeah.
He said, no, man, them ain't chickens, them's roosters.
That's funny. Man. Yeah, I'd say you got some stories to tell.
Yeah.
I'd say we could record for quite a while on
Oh, yeah,
those.
that would be,
But no, we
I'm sure a lot of them probably wouldn't be
that's
podcast friendly.
Yeah, that's
or
why I chose the one I
church
did.
friendly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a minute there, but
yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of times those people don't act too civilized. And
no. It's more like a bunch of cavemen in there, really. You know what I'm saying? Grunting, I guess.
Yeah.
It goes back to the more primal, you know, instincts, I guess. Everything's just survival.
Amen. Well, once again, we appreciate you being willing to come on, join us on the podcast. And who knows, maybe down the road, you'll be back between the two ditches.
That's right.
But no, we thank you so much, and we're praying for you. Looking forward to what God has in store, and we'll say to the listener, stay tuned for more episodes, upcoming conversations, many things planned for the future. And till next time, keep it between the ditches.